Alright, what's up, lads? Okay, today we're going to be talking about Kid and Law and what their 3 billion berry bounty means for them. Because this means way more for them than it means for Luffy. And let me get into why right now. So obviously, Luffy already has that notoriety, already has that massive top, premium top tier crew, premium top tier pirates under his flag, and he's got many nations that ally with him, and I think the world knows now that those nations ally with him, because that's what I think Wappo's gonna show them more against. But we'll talk about that some other time, right? Vivi is now a wanted criminal, that is my belief. But, this is important. This means so much for Kid and Law for many reasons. We're gonna go through different scenarios, and then I will talk about the one I actually think will happen. So primarily we're going to be talking about this where it's an excuse for Oda to level them up, in a sense, by having their crew fight against more marines and pirates that want to take their head because they're now worth 3 billion. And it could be increased to an extreme degree because the increase in berries was drastic, right? Because we saw how Roger was treated after he got a Pirate King title. So I'd assume the title, like the increase in berry to that degree, would have a less meaningful but semi-impactful effect in that regard. So we have more characters fighting against Kid and Law on a consistent basis, increasing their crew's overall power to a acceptable degree for endgame. And that is what I think will happen. We'll see more of Kid and Law's crew because of that, and I think that's going to be cool. But due to this, I believe also that more people are going to join Kid and Law, and I can talk about this in more detail because we saw with Luffy's a whole thing in the war, his whole experience in this big war in Marineford, and his big bounty jump. Loads of people at Sabaody wanted to join his crew, right? Everyone was like, "Come join!" Everyone was like, "Let me join you! Let me join you! Please, Mugiwara, let me join you!" All right, this type of shit, right? And it was constant. It was for like 5 chapters we got this. To the point where there were fake Straw Hats who were trying to get these crew members. Alright? Like, that was so cool. That was an amazing moment in post-time skip. A great way to introduce the post-time skip. And I feel like Kid and Law are going to get this, but they're actually going to accept it, right? In my opinion, Kid and Law understand that their crew is a bit low in numbers, and Kid's crew was demolished. Most of them were killed. So he's not the type of guy to shy away from it, right? He's going to be aggressive. He's going to let you join his crew, and if you don't, and you have to pass his test, right? If you fuck with Killer or fuck with any of his pre-existing crew members that he trusts, you're going to get fucked. But he will allow scumbags on his crew. He will allow the worst of the worst on his crew as long as they listen to him, right? And Law, I think, Law is a different story. Because in my opinion, Law isn't going to want to have this big crew. I think Law's crew is going to stay small because he's not that impactful. He's going to stick around Luffy, so there's not a need for that. And you could say, maybe Kid will stick around Luffy. But even if Kid sticks around with Luffy, he's still going to want a bigger crew. Whereas Law, I don't think gives a shit, right? He is with his current amount of crew and he's happy with that. We saw how much he cares for them. They're all semi-well adjusted to medicine. So he needs because he's a doctor, he needs these particular members of his crew. He can't have some random no good bottom feeder pirate just joining his crew, right? Like, that's not going to do anything for him because he's a doctor. He's going to want more sophisticated individuals, more trained individuals to join his crew. John Bart had notoriety. That's why he got him to join his crew, because he thought he needed a bit of muscle. Now, you could say he might also need more muscle, which is why he would get more of that on, but I just don't see it. Whereas Kid, I can see getting a massive fleet of like a bunch of lower pirates that want to join Kid, and then through the strength of numbers and just some general like mid-tier post-time skip pirates, I think that could happen. I think Carbo might join Kid. I could see that totally happening. We might see some of the Beast Pirates join over with Kid. There could be a lot of stuff that could increase Kid's crew, which will justify that 3 billion bounty. I feel like Law's justification is just he's in an alliance with Luffy, and you could say Kid's also in an alliance with Luffy, but it's not going to stick. he believed in Luffy for this fight, but he's not. I think Oda would be mad to have Kid stay in a permanent alliance with Luffy, because I feel like it wouldn't work with his character. He doesn't trust alliances at all, and he still hasn't. He just believes that Luffy helped because he wanted to defeat Kaido. He doesn't have any care for Luffy at all. You know what I mean? Now, this could change, and in a reasonable way, if we get Kid's backstory and they do something with that, but I just don't see it, alright? So I think Kid's gonna get this massive crew from his big bounty increase, like in Sabaody or something like that. I do think Law will change in notoriety. People might try to join. He might get a few extra members of his crew, maybe like 4 or 5, but not that many compared to Kid. Kid's gonna have like probably 30 or 40, maybe even 50 crew members, in my opinion. Now, most of them are going to be no names, right? Most of them will be no names, but we'll get a few big hitters. Like, we might get the Carabo brothers, or the Carabo and his brother reuniting, so we have them. We might get some other pirates from the, like, we might get a few pirates reuniting. We might get a few scraggling beast pirates. We might even get the odd few samurai who want to explore the world, and kind of Kid might have saved their ass. Apu might even suck up to him again, but I don't think that's going to work. You know, and then, as I said before, we're going to get people who see the notoriety and want to join Kid. Because we know notoriety makes people want to join, because look at Kaido's crew, right? There's a lot of people there who aren't people whose wills were broken, because at the end of the day, right, some of these are pleasures and bottom feeders and not really that important, right? Whereas there's a lot of height. So Kid's going to get a lot of like extra muscle, but it's obviously not going to mean much. But in terms of numbers, and I think it's going to do a lot for him in terms of making him seem like more of a rival to Luffy in the story. That's kind of where I'm going with this, because we know Oda wants him to be on equal footing with Luffy and to give that vibe. He even did it in this chapter where he had him trying to attack Luffy and all that, you know. So it's something I'm interested in, and I could see it happening gradually, where like Kid picks up more people on his travels, maybe as he tries to attack Luffy or something like that. Because in my personal opinion, right, I do think that Oda needs to do more to boost up Kid's like rivalry with Luffy, because there's not much there. Because fuck it, even Usopp could probably take out everyone other than Kid and Killer, right? So we need more, and I feel like that's going to be how we're doing it. And we might get some named pirates that have been in the background that I don't remember from Sabaody that might come and join him, or we might get some named pirates from future arcs that come and join them. Like, we might be introduced to some new characters through Kid. You know, this could be very interesting in terms of what Oda will do with Kid. And speaking on the alliance front, because we do want to talk about this for a little while, what is the alliance going to look like, really? I don't see any feasible way for there to be a 3-pirate alliance for long term. I can see if Law himself continues the alliance with Luffy, because we saw the chapter in when they were fighting Big Mom, and Law said he wanted to find out the history, whether it's a checkered fate or not. And to me, he understands now, because if he's talking with Robin about shit and Pluton and all this, because we know they flash back to when Robin was talking with Law, and I'm assuming they trust each other enough where she would have told him. And I'm telling you, he's gonna stick with Luffy. He's gonna stick on that ship, or he's gonna stick as a Grand Fleet member. He's definitely sticking with Luffy, because I feel like he believes that Luffy is the best way for him to achieve his goals. Alright? I don't know what you guys think, but that is my opinion. Is that Law definitely is sensible enough to understand that his best option is to stick with Luffy, right? Whereas Kid, I think, will be a more opposing force and have more stragglers come in and have like a crew of 50 by the end of the series or so. Have a bunch of like ship crews join him because of his notoriety and his 3 billion berry. I don't think Law is going to change anything. I think he's just going to keep his alliance with Luffy. So I think it's going to be really cool. I don't see Kid keeping an alliance with Luffy, because although I can say he trusts him to be Kaido, it doesn't fit his character unless something in his backstory changes that, right? And I think it would be a bit disappointing to have a sort of just rougher Law. Not to say that's what Kid is, but if Kid becomes friendly with Luffy, that would just be what it is, right? In my opinion. And I don't really want to see that. Okay, personally anyway. Like, that's my opinion on the stuff that could happen with Kid and Law's new bounties. I think it's fascinating to me how this will change their perception and how this might just be a quick fire way to get them up to the level of Luffy, or at least in terms of crew strengthening in the eyes of the fans, if numbers matters, right? In terms of perception. Okay, and I think the numbers, if Kid gets the numbers, like not the numbers as in the Giants, but numbers as in members of his crew, I feel like that will ease people's worries about being a rival to Luffy, because realistically people aren't going to want too many named characters. It's fine to only have a couple named characters that do much, like Kid, Killer, and possibly if they add in one or two more named members of his crew. But if he has them and the numbers that I'm talking about already, I think that's going to satisfy enough people to make him realistically a proper rival to Luffy. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think my idea of Kid getting his own Sabaody crew where everyone cares because, oh, he got involved in a massive war that changed the world, so now more people want to join his crew and he gets a massive crew that way and we're introduced to some cool new characters? Or do you think Kid is just a useless Captain Mid? Let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe for more One Piece content from me, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye!